tracking severe weather. This is Storm Team 8.
We are starting off at 11 o'clock here in the 24-hour tracking center, where some strong storms have made some serious impact here in West Michigan. We are getting reports of damage in Kent County. We're going to talk about all of that, but first we want to get to exactly what's happening right now, because this is still an active situation. Kyle Underwood's here to talk about that.
We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's still in effect for southeastern Kent, northern Barry, and southwestern Ionia County. Strong winds appear to be the primary threat with this storm, but we're also having a lot of lightning, and there's the possibility of some small hail. Closer inspection of this warning goes for another 15 minutes or so. Whitneyville, Alaska getting strong storms into Ionia County, with Clarksville and Saranac just to the west of the city of Ionia. Strong thunderstorms moving through right now. Let me track the leading edge of the strongest part of the storm, which is northwest of Freeport in northern Barry County. This is pushing eastward and going to affect Elmdale, Clarksville, Campbell Corners, and Lake Odessa through the next 20 to 30 minutes.
And we're at the live desk right now, where we are continuing to monitor the damage reports coming in caused by that line of storms that swept through Kent County. We are hearing major damage in the 48th and eastern area all the way up through 52nd. We're hearing that that road is shut down, and reports that there may be a building collapse in that area. We are working to get some of that information confirmed. All of this very preliminary, as emergency responders are headed there right now.
Leon, first things first, all of the severe thunderstorm warnings have been expired. We still have some strong storms out there, but nothing severe. Now, before I show you radar, a couple of flooding reports that I want to get you up to speed on. Clyde Park on Plaster Creek in Wyoming. There's some flooding going on right now there, and a car has been stranded in the floodwaters. Also, in Kentwood, train spotters from the National Weather Service reporting East Castle Lane is flooded. So there are a lot of impassable roads out there right now because of the torrential rainfall that has happened and continues to happen across parts of Kent County. In fact, just within the last few seconds, let's take radar here. The National Weather Service has posted a flash flood warning for Kent, Ionia, Montcalm counties.
Welcome back. We are in the middle of severe weather coverage as we are learning of severe damage caused in Kent County because of whatever swept through this area. At this point, we don't know what that was. The possibility that it was a tornado. We do know that there have been reports of at least one wind gust at 90 miles an hour. That's the word from the 24-hour tracking center. We're getting word of widespread damage in the southern portion of the county and tens of thousands of people without power at this point. Right now, we want to get to someone who lives in the 52nd Street and Eastern area, that they've got some damage at their home. Dave Thacker is over the phone with us. Dave, tell us what you saw go through your area.
Well, it was pretty dark out. I didn't see a whole lot at the moment, but the wind came up like crazy. 90 miles an hour is probably the right assessment. We have massive trees down. We have a house that I'm not sure if it was a tornado or winds or what, but we have houses that were just demolished. We have one behind us in the street where the house is just totally destroyed, ripped on, truss system and everything. There's rooms blown off houses. We have had a couple of cars crushed in our driveway. It looks like siding and shingles have blown off most of the houses on our street anyways.
Dave, have you been able to ascertain from talking with your neighbors whether everybody's okay where you are?
Yeah, that's the first thing we did. A bunch of us were going house to house just making sure, and it looks like everybody's outside trying to assess their own damages, but I don't think anybody was hurt anywhere near us anyway.
And I assume you don't have power?
Oh, no, we don't have power. The first thing that I noticed out our front windows were loud flashes and booms where the transformers were being shot out.
It was an incredibly fast-moving, powerful storm system that brought strong winds here, starting at roughly 60th Street, which is right here, and US 131, and then traveling northeastward through Kentwood. It looks like the apex of damage is in roughly the 52nd and Eastern neighborhood, or 54th and Eastern neighborhood. Eastern runs right here. For reference, this is Kalamazoo, and here's 52nd. But somebody has reported, one of our callers has said this looks like a war zone. I don't dispute that. I suspect there is widespread damage in a very narrow channel here through Kentwood, approaching 52nd and Kalamazoo. For more on this, let's check in with Jack Stewart. He's the Emergency Management Director for Kent County. He is traveling through this area and has a good sense of what's happened here so we can get our viewers up to speed. Jack, can you tell us where you are and what you're seeing?
Well, right now I'm still working my way south through a very powerful storm, and visibility is pretty restricted because of the heavy rain. At this time, we received several reports of damage to homes, trees in the homes, and unconfirmed report of a building collapse in the 44th Street area, but we're still checking into these right now. We have damage assessment teams in the area, and at this time, I'm not aware of any personal injury.
We do have our first reporter live on the scene of what's happening in Kentwood. That is where we've seen a lot of the damage here at Eastern. Heather Walker is live at the scene for us. Heather, bring us up to speed on where you are and what you're seeing.
Leon, this is quite a storm and the damage is dramatic. We are here in Kentwood near 52nd and Eastern, where trees are down everywhere, power lines are down, it's dark, it's dangerous, and people are actually being evacuated tonight. I'm actually joined now with some people that just got evacuated. This happened around 11 o'clock, correct?
I think so.
Tell me what happened.
Well, I was in my living room because I heard a lot of thunder, and just when I went in the living room, I never seen lightning like that before, and then I heard all these crackling noises.
Did you have any trees come down into your home?
No, just my front door was damaged and saw glass in the living room.
And then the firefighters came by and just started evacuating?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and you said one person hurt.
Yes, but not seriously, if I understand it right.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so right now that's what firefighters are doing out here, and officers, they're out here. There's a whole crew of them, and there's command posts that are around the city. Now, I want to let you know, I just spoke to some of them out here. They tell us if you have loved ones in this area, if you have loved ones in the Kentwood area, do not come looking for them. They want you to stay out of this area. They are evacuating everyone, so please stay out of this area. They're trying to keep everyone as safe as possible. Now, there is a command center that's set up or is being set up at the Home Depot right now. That's the Home Depot on 54th Street.
Tell me a little bit about what you saw as you were driving through and the challenges you faced to even get to where you are now.
Well, this was a very isolated storm, it appears like, because we were just driving for miles and miles and everything seemed normal. You know, the lights were on, trees were up, and all of a sudden we just hit this point, and I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly when it was, but we hit this point where there were just trees down everywhere. It was dark, there's power lines down. All we could see is flashing lights from various places, and it's really bad. I mean, all these people had to be evacuated. There are trees down just blocking. It's hard to see because it is so dark. We have limited lighting out here, but there are trees down everywhere, and I'm being careful watching where I'm stepping. That's why we're going to head to that Home Depot and find out more about what exactly is going on, but it's crazy out here. It's just a mess.
Another area hard hit, besides Wyoming, of course, is the Kentwood area. We've got 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgy, who is live there on 44th Street. Joe, give us an idea of what you're seeing where you are.
Yeah, Leon, I want to step out of the way and show you the damage. This is the most significant damage we've seen throughout our travels this evening. That strip mall, that is located just north of 44th Street, west of Kalamazoo Avenue, and there's a larger strip mall here, but that's a smaller portion of it. And take a look at that roof. Kyle was talking about the winds coming through here and what may have happened, how to determine if they're straight line or tornado winds. But take a look at that roof. It appears from where we're standing right now, from our vantage point, that there's a lot of twisted debris in there, not just laying flat, not just lifted up and lifted back down, but that kind of twisted effect. It is hard to see under the darkness of night, obviously, but that is what it appears to be. A lot of emergency crews here. The big issue, obviously, nobody inside. Those businesses were closed. That is a fortunate part, but all through this area, we're hearing of power lines down. So they're telling people stay off the streets. Obviously, with the dark here, you can't see those power lines. You're liable to walk right into one. The other problem are gas leaks, numerous gas leaks, and that's why they have us so far back right now. They're waiting for the gas company to get here and shut the gas off to that location.
This is a breaking news alert from 24-hour News 8.
Oh, all the trees are down. Garages are blown apart.
And then I heard all these crackling noises.
I heard winds and a slapping sound, and then I heard a tornado.
Breaking now described as like a war zone. That's the scene right now in several neighborhoods slammed by extreme winds overnight. Roofs torn off, buildings collapse. Trees just sprawled everywhere. At least 6 people were injured. Incredibly and thankfully, no one was killed throughout all of this. Now, this is the destruction zone. We want to show you right now parts of southeast Grand Rapids, Kentwood, and Wyoming. Things are a mess in this entire area. Streets are closed, power is out, and buildings are damaged or destroyed. Our crews are live in the field this morning surveying the damage, looking to see if this was a tornado or powerful straight line winds, and finding out why just about everyone seemed to be caught off guard by this storm last night. But first, we start with 24-hour News 8's Matt Kirkwood. He's in the tracking center right now with more storms that just moved out of the area, but they were in our backyard. Matt?
Yeah, here's a last of the thunderstorms and the showers that I believe we'll see for today.
Thank you. And Amanda Jarrett is anchoring for us from out in the field this morning. She's live in one of the hardest hit neighborhoods. We got some daylight. So Amanda, what are you seeing?
You know, Mark, it's really just amazing to see this now that the sun is up. If you look behind me, it's just siding everywhere, limbs, trees split here on the sidewalk, something off somebody's house here. I mean, this is just a mangled mess down here. We're off 52nd and Eastern here in Kentwood. We've been out here live all morning long, and we're getting a first look at the damage. We're starting to see neighbors come out here and look at their homes to see what they're dealing with this morning. A lot of cleanup ahead of them this morning. Amazingly, though, we've only heard of minor injuries in all this. About 6 people hurt so far, we've heard, but again, minor injuries. And when you see the damage in some of these neighborhoods, it's really incredible. And it's great news to know that, again, just damage at this point, no serious injury.
We've been speaking to residents this morning. Now that daylight is here, they're taking a look at some of the damage. We're actually joined now live with Ruth and Doug Gerard. They're residents of this neighborhood. I mean, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Not ever since. I've been here 15 years. My husband and I have been married 12 years, and I lived over on 56th Street before this, and there was straight line winds that hit that neighborhood, but not this bad. It's our backyard. Our front yard that's in front of where we live, our front courtyard is nothing but trees down, but we are so thankful that we have our home and we're safe.
And Storm Team 8 meteorologist Kyle Underwood's been driving around the Kentwood, Wyoming area this morning. He's been out all morning long. You were tracking these storms last night. You came out this morning to do a storm survey, and you do believe that it was a tornado that caused some of this damage.
Yeah, you know, I've been looking at enough storm damage, not only to homes and trees, but other debris that's strewn about, looking at the patterns and how it's been lofted, how it's been strewn about on the ground, and I believe there's strong enough evidence for me to conclude that this was a tornado that caused the damage here near 52nd and Eastern. Some pretty heavy-duty thunderstorms through parts of Kent County right now, but I want you to know that this is something we're watching very carefully here.
I've never been in a tornado before, but I mean, it was intense shaking and I didn't know what else it could be other than that.
It really sounded like a train blowing through, and looked across the street, and we just grabbed the kids and ran to the basement.
Now seen enough damage to say, I believe this was caused by a tornado.
We have confirmed that we had a tornado touchdown.
This is 24-hour News 8 at 5.
Tornado touchdown, triple-digit winds tearing off roofs, knocking down trees in Metro Grand Rapids. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brian Sterling.
And I'm Marley Ginter, and we are bringing you these next newscasts live from Clay Avenue, just south of 54th. We really are in the thick of some of the damage, just surrounded by buildings that have had their roofs completely torn up, and so much damage out here.
The damage is significant, from trees down to roofs ripped off, buildings that are completely exposed, and the concentration of the damage is really in a really compact area here in Kent County. But in that area, the damage is significant.
It definitely is. And tonight at 5, we're showing you a bird's eye view of the damage left behind. We want to show you this chopper video. You can see the roof ripped off a strip mall, the roof ripped off of a strip mall. And we're taking you inside the storm. You'll hear from people who lived through the moment of the impact. Now here is the latest on what we've learned so far. An F1 twister with winds up to 110 miles an hour. 6 people were hurt in the storm, and thank goodness everyone survived. The National Weather Service never issued a tornado warning. Around 2,000 people are without power right now, and that number will actually go up tonight. We've just learned that Consumers Energy has to cut power to 4,000 homes and businesses to fix damage caused by the storm. We want to start though tonight with 24-hour News 8's Steve Kelso. He has been in Wyoming and just finished speaking with a family that barely made it out and survived.
When we woke up this morning, it was like, wow. That's all we're saying is, wow.
It was really scary.
It was very scary. We had to get all of our kids out. We went in the basement, and we were all saying, thankfully, we were alive.
A lot of our stuff is way down there still.
Brian Johnson got his 2 little girls downstairs just in time.
And when I grabbed the baby, as I was just hitting the front door there, the glass broke right behind me, which is right here. The glass broke. Didn't know what it was, so I just went through the kids down the basement, and then when we come back up, that glass was shattered. The little girl's bed was all the way at this wall here, pulled from the other wall. And then that's when I came out and looked, seeing that the garage was gone.
His family safe. Johnson is amazed at how much stuff that was in the garage is still there.
Everything that was behind the garage is all down, like 4 houses down. Everything that was in the top part of the attic of it is all down, 4 houses down. It's crazy.
That was 24-hour News 8 Steve Kelso reporting on some of the cleanup underway this afternoon. After assessing the damage this morning on daybreak, Storm Team 8's meteorologist Kyle Underwood said that he did believe that it was a tornado that went through this area. Well, this afternoon, the National Weather Service confirmed that. And now we want to turn it over to Storm Team 8's chief meteorologist Bill Steffen with more on his assessment of what went down last night, Bill.
For tomorrow and the rest of the week.
All right, Bill Steffen, thank you for that. We want to give you again another look at the destruction zone. This is basically stretched from M6 all the way through Wyoming into Kentwood and then into Grand Rapids. We also had a unique opportunity to get an aerial view of some of the damage, and we want to throw things over to 24-hour News 8's Rick Albin in studio with more on this unique perspective of just how bad this storm was last night. Rick?
Yeah, we've been talking about some of the damage there at Zeeland Lumber, so we asked our folks in the art department to do some comparisons for us, and so what they did was take some pictures that we have from ground level and also some pictures of the way things looked by some maps taken earlier. So while these are not exact comparison, it gives you an idea. We're going to start with this one at 5836 Clay. That's Zeeland Lumber Company. And just take a look at these 2 pictures. This one taken sometime before, this one taken this morning. Notice the fence that is no more. Same with the sign that's gone, and you can see the damage to the building and all the debris that has been scattered around. That's just one perspective to get an idea, because if you just see this picture, it makes it harder. Here's another angle of that same shot. You can see that tree has been obliterated. The building you saw earlier has been moved into that area, and it gives you an idea of just how powerful the storm.
Well, 24-hour News 8's Henry Erb is live in a heavily damaged neighborhood near 44th and Kalamazoo to tell us how the National Weather Service determined it was indeed a tornado this afternoon. Henry?
Yeah, this tornado was the blow your trees down kind, not the kind that will blow your house away, but take a look at this. 2 trees fell on this house, carving it in half. So even a small tornado can do big damage.
Oh, it's a path of destruction. This was a tornado, had to be.
And National Weather Service meteorologist Stan Cobb agrees. He came and looked at the damage and quickly came to that conclusion.
This is going to give us winds of around 100 miles per hour, maximum wind gusts. And so that will snap trees, and that's mostly what we saw.
My shades, the curtains went up on a 90-degree angle touching the ceiling. I ran upstairs, grabbed all my kids, and hit the basement, and then I heard all the trees fall.
It only lasted maybe 10 seconds, and it was gone from here.
Cobb from the Weather Service says that's another clue, marking this as a tornado.
For a tornado of this size, it's going to happen, it's going to hit you and be over before you even know what happened.
Cobb tracked it on a map. It started near M6 and US 131 and ran for 6¼ miles through Kentwood. It lasted 10 minutes and disappeared just short of 28th Street.
Good.
He says it was good timing. Holiday weekend events were over. People were inside their homes getting ready for bed.
This kind of a tornado, this intensity, as long as you're inside a well-built house, you're pretty much going to be safe.
This tornado hit without warning at 6. We're getting some answers from the National Weather Service about why. Live in Kentwood, Henry Erb, 24-Hour News 8.
Tonight, so many of you here in Wyoming are starting to do that exhausting cleanup, and there are many organizations stepping up to lend a hand. And of course, as usual, one of those organizations is the American Red Cross. I'm joined now by Jonathan Breams. Thank you so much for being out here with us tonight. Have you had a lot of people calling you?
Yeah, we've had a lot of people looking for a place to stay. This storm affected a lot of people last night. And the power outages, obviously, people needed somewhere to stay at night and a place to get food.
Definitely. Now, we actually had one of our crews out at one of the shelters that you have set up, and that's over at the Kentwood Community Center. Yep. How long will that be open, and what can people expect when they get there?
Yeah, the shelter is going to be open until further notice.
Okay, we want to go to 24-Hour News 8's Heather Walker, who just got out of a meeting with emergency officials assessing what happened last night. Heather?
Hey Brian, yeah, we're here at Ideal Reformed Church, right in the heart of where this tornado hit really hard here, and you can hear chainsaws in the background. Cleanup is well underway. We just got out of a press conference where we learned there are about 50 homes affected by this right now. Also about 7 injuries, all of those minor, but all of them were taken to the hospital. And this cleanup is going to take a while here. No idea exactly the time frame, but unfortunately with any disaster, there are people that are going to try to take advantage of this. And right now I'm joined with Police Chief James Carmody to talk about some of those scams that are already happening here. What can you tell us?
Well, we know that earlier today we got reports from some of the people in the neighborhood. There's a gentleman walking through the neighborhood identifying himself as a pre-med student. Began to ask information. We're not quite sure what information he was asking for. Going house to house to house saying that he was checking on people. We're asking people to not carry on a conversation with people they don't identify. We've also had people in the area handing out cards from contractors. Pay no money up front, get with your insurance company, talk to your insurance company about what needs to be done around your residence. And the unfortunate reality of it is a situation like this sometimes brings out certainly the best of people, but also the worst of people as well.
One of the organizations that has been working nonstop since the storm hit late last night has been Consumers Energy. Roger Morgenstern, spokesperson with Consumers, joining us live out here tonight. Roger, bring us up to speed, I guess, on outages, how they stand right at this hour.
Yeah, we have about 2,600 people still without power in Kent County. We expect most of those folks to be back on tonight by midnight. Some of the damage, like we're seeing here in Wyoming and in Kentwood, it'll be until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
15, 20 seconds and it was done. It was gone so fast.
Just shows again how quick our life can change. Sitting there watching the news and all of a sudden this wind come up and just that quick it was over.
How come the sirens weren't sounded? That's a fair question, and that's one that we've been looking at Storm Team 8, and we've been chatting with the National Weather Service.
I don't see how we could have caught it before it was on the ground.
This is 24-Hour News 8 at 6.
And that nasty tornado hit without warning in the darkness. Tonight at 6, we are asking the National Weather Service how that could happen. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marley Ginter.
And I'm Brian Sterling. We are live tonight in Wyoming. We are just off of Clay, south of 54th, where the tornado, this was one of the areas the tornado first touched down and started causing a lot of that damage last night.
Right, we are surrounded by that damage. We want you to take a look at the power this storm had. Aerial video shows the roof ripped off of a strip mall just off Kalamazoo Avenue near 44th in Kentwood.
That strip mall is right in the center of the destruction zone. And you can see from this map, it stretches from US 31, the M6 interchange here, to near the Ford Airport.
Now this morning on Daybreak, Storm Team 8 meteorologist Kyle Underwood said from the damage he saw, he thought it was all caused by a tornado. And then this afternoon, the National Weather Service confirmed that, saying it was an EF1 twister with winds up to 110 miles an hour.
So the big question, when that storm hit last night, there wasn't even a severe thunderstorm warning that had been issued for Kent County, let alone a tornado warning. No sirens, they never went off.
That's right, taking many people off guard. This afternoon, 24-Hour News 8's Henry Erb is getting answers about why he's joining us live in Kentwood near 44th and Kalamazoo. Henry?
In Kentwood, and the only warning that people here in this neighborhood had was the sound of the twister coming itself.
Definitely snuck up on us.
And when it did, 2 trees crushed Andrew Ruster's home. It was over in seconds. He says he'd been watching TV and knew there had been a severe thunderstorm warning earlier when the Weather Service feared hail in Ottawa County. but there was no official warning when the twister hit, except for the sound of destruction coming closer.
I heard like a swirling noise, and then basically ran to the downstairs, the lower level, and then the tree came in right behind me on the steps.
So why no warning? The National Weather Service says this was the kind of tornado that gives the radar no hint it's coming.
It looked pretty much just like an ordinary thunderstorm. The main threat we were worried about was heavy rain.
He calls it a spin-up tornado. Big storms start a couple miles up in the air and take their time working their way to the ground. So radar has time to see them, and the Weather Service has time to warn people. This kind starts on the ground suddenly without warning. He says the radar sweeps around every 4 minutes. This one appeared about a minute after the scan went by.
The next volume scan comes in, and now you're halfway down the damage path before we even see the signature. And then it takes a couple of minutes to issue the warning.
This tornado was on the ground for 6 miles in just 10 minutes.
And they saw evidence on the second scan, but it was already weakening. So they chose to go with a severe thunderstorm warning instead of a tornado warning.
He says they're upgrading their radar this month. It will give them a couple of minutes edge on small, sudden spin-up twisters they don't have now.
The one thing we do know is when it's the larger tornadoes the kind that do blow your house over, we're very, very successful at detecting those with 10 to 15 minute lead times.
So if they can't warn us about all small twisters, what should we do? Cobb says respect nature, and if any thunderstorm shows up, go inside and stay there. Live in Kentwood, Henry, 24 Hour News 8.